Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. My goodness, they have lost everything. They've lost everything. Are we live yet? All right. Just need to make sure everyone can see me. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Monday Fun Day, June 30th. June 30th, 2025. Man, this year is going by so fast. We knew that this was going to happen. I mean, we all knew that it was going to happen. We knew that when President Trump came into office that it was going to scream and it was going to fly by, and we were all going to be like, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" This is going to be the quickest administration that I've ever taken in American history. It's going to go by so quick. It's going to go by so quick. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't already, please bless me by hitting that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up for me. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get on to some of this. Now, the Demoncrats, they're actually exposing themselves even more so. You have communists that are on the tickets in various places, and they thought they were going to be able to get the communist Kamala Harris to go into play, but that failed flat on its face. Literally fell flat on its face. And then they're still doubling down on it. They're having a total meltdown because President Trump is winning at every aspect of everything. He's just constantly winning. And they're so piping mad. I saw this video with this radical liberal, and I think it might have been a TikTok video. And she was just cursing left and right, talking about F the Supreme Court. She was so mad with the Supreme Court. Mad with the Supreme Court because the Supreme Court siding with not just President Trump, but with reality, with facts, with the truth. And they don't want a Supreme Court that will do that. They want a Supreme Court that will push the radical agenda, to push everything that is against reality. That's what they're looking forward to. And see, because if they can get the Supreme Court to confirm the stuff that they've been wanting people to believe is true, then in their minds, they can go ahead and fix their minds and say, oh, it is true. It is true. No matter what that is, because they do a lot of this. They do a lot of, how do you say this? Push against the envelope, push against the truth. And then they get upset with us because we don't go along with their insanity. And then they say, well, we don't know the truth because because we're not believing in the fake information that they're putting out there. Oh, you need to believe this. You need to believe this right here. And everything that they're pushing, none of it's true. And we all know it's not true, but yet they still push it. But they want us to believe otherwise. Which brings me to this dude in New York. He's a total communist. So first they come, to become socialists, then they turn communist. But this dude in New York that's possibly having the opportunity of becoming mayor, he's gone completely off the deep end. And they know that he has. But even more so than that, the Demoncrats, for everything that they've been doing, they've been doubling down. And they're having a total meltdown. They really are having a total meltdown. To give an example, President Trump has in the Oval Office, he has a sit down and people from different countries come in. And President Trump, he's wanting to be the president that actually brings peace. He wants to be that. He doesn't want to be the war president. He hasn't taken us into war. They all kept kicking and screaming the last couple of weeks. Oh my goodness, President Trump, he lied. He said that he's going to keep us out of wars. Are we in a war right now? I mean, seriously, if you think we're in a war right now, a World War III, what people were alluding to, don't change it now. Don't change it now, because even the Bible tells us that there will be wars and rumors of wars. But people were saying that President Trump was going to keep us out of the conflict 100%, which actually he has kept us out of the conflict. But President Trump had to do what he had to do to make sure that we would not be in the conflict. But they're leaving that part out. They're just saying that President Trump is taking us to World War III. He said he was going to leave us out of the conflict. All of those people that was kicking and screaming about that last week, the last couple of weeks, ever since Iran and Israel, what are they saying today? What are they saying today? Are they saying the same thing? Now, to my understanding, what is it? What's his name? Soleimani? Is that his name? It's not Soleimani, is it? Out of Iran. What's the leader's name out of Iran? Apparently, he's put a hit on President Trump. He's been in communication with President Trump. He's put a hit on President Trump, to my understanding. And I'm like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? He's talking to Israel. He's talking to them. They're just mad because President Trump actually did do some serious damage to them. Well, this is a beautiful clip with Scott Jennings. Scott Jennings, and this woman that's sitting here, she's trying to say that President Trump is not being successful. And this particular story is about Congo, because President Trump is not only talking to Israel, Iran, Russia, and Ukraine, he's talking to other nations around the world. And she's sitting there saying that President Trump was not successful. And Scott Jennings go, were you not watching? He said, maybe you should watch the news before you try to report the news, something like that. I wonder how she feels after seeing this. I'm just wondering how she feels.
Jobs not done. A foreign minister from Rwanda told CNN, he said he's committed to supporting this ongoing negotiation, but warned that ending the conflict will depend on political will and the good faith. And he doesn't know if that is true, referring to the DRC's government. It's not done. It's not done.
You didn't watch the news yesterday. They literally announced it in the Oval Office.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You see this? You see this? She go, it's not done. It's not done. My point in playing this is they do everything like this. Even when it's 100% true, they come out and they lie because they don't want anybody to believe that President Trump is successful in anything. Now, here's where she's saying did not happen.
Really announced it in the Oval Office.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is indeed a historical day because it's the signing of a peace agreement between Congo and Rwanda to end a conflict that has been going on for 30 years.
Let me ask you a question.
Literally in the Oval Office.
Can I say something?
Friday afternoon.
You said something earlier. You said, and you kind of agree with Pete, when he says there's something about the media where they feel like they want to disprove Donald Trump. Is that what you said? Something to that effect?
Yeah, it happens every day.
And you think that's what they want to do, right? You think the media is going in to say he's lying and he's not telling the truth. Do you believe that?
That is the standing disposition.
Do you believe that he tells the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Every time?
You think
all presidents?
You think the president tells the truth? This current president tells the truth often.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I also think that, to our point that we haven't established, he does announce things before it's too soon.
They literally had the countries in there.
The program isn't.
I feel like you should watch the news before you come out here.
I feel like you should stop trying to defend him just to defend him.
I feel like you should watch the news.
You guys stop.
I think you should watch the news before you come out here and try to report the news. At least try to catch up. I wonder how she feels after seeing this. I wonder if she's actually even seen this. But you know what? It's not just this. It's like this with everything when it comes to them. It's everything. They lie every single time. It doesn't matter what it is. If they can lie to try to convince people that President Trump was not successful, they will lie, even though you can go look at the footage. They just put the footage in there showing that President Trump was doing the very thing that she said he was not doing.
I mean, it just shows that they're even uninformed. I mean, these people are doing news, supposedly, right? It's a news channel. They're sitting around the circle of the table and they're supposed to be discussing the news, and she doesn't even know what's happening in the news.
No.
I mean, that's what they do. These people are not informed. And the sad thing is then they don't even inform their base. Good thing Jennings is there to say, hey, listen, this is actually the news.
Yeah, here it is right here. You should probably watch the news before you come on here and try to report the news.
They hate that Trump is doing something good.
You know what? They absolutely do. And then when you get some radical liberals on the different the liberal media outlets, when they go out there and they start reporting on stuff, and they can't help but say, this is what they're actually saying. I don't like it really, but President Trump has actually done some good things. And then if you're a radical liberal, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to just constantly go with the lie. And if you start telling the truth about President Trump, they will call you out on it. You're not supposed to do that. That's a big no-no in the liberal world. The liberal handbook, you're not supposed to do that. When President Trump tells the truth, you lie more to try to make his truth look like lies. Here's a prime example of this. This guy, I guess he does a radio show on the Communist News Network as well. And while he's doing that, he's answering questions that's coming from Facebook. He's answering questions coming from Facebook on CNN.
Well,
this
was
is
X.
Huh?
This one was on X.
Well, okay, so he answered questions from CNN or from Facebook and X, but this particular question came from X. And he's on here, and listen to what the person that is saying, that's talking to him, because he says something factual about President Trump. And of course, liberals don't like it.
What in the hell are you talking about? Damn, you've set the bar so low for Trump that an ant can't crawl underneath. I don't understand the second part of it, but okay. What am I talking about? I'm talking about offering an objective analysis in view of what's transpired in the last 2 weeks that I've laid out substantively and with data. He's been on a roll. It might not be the role that you desire, but I like the word that David used and that Selena Zito used in her column this morning, consequential. Who among us could deny how consequential Trump 2.0 is turning out to be? But in order for you to recognize that, you need to have an open mind about what's transpiring.
You see that? So President Trump has been winning, which equals to the American people have been winning. And it's only the Demoncrats that don't want the American people to win. Now, if you're here in the country and you're not an American citizen, they will fight for you all day long. They got you. You are extremely important to them, not the American people, but you that are not an American citizen, undocumented, what they refer to you, undocumented immigrant. They refer to you as that way, but you're a straight up illegal immigrant. But they are fighting for you because you're extremely important for them. And President Trump, but the rest of the country, President Trump has been winning for us. We've been winning. We voted for this. I voted for what President Trump is doing. You voted for what President Trump is doing. And even if you didn't go to the ballot box and vote for President Trump directly, you still voted for President Trump because you know who won. I don't know what it is, but, it's still like, when President Trump first won, Shannon, and how that feeling was, and it's like we're almost on a high.
Yeah.
That hasn't gone away from me.
Hasn't gone away from me either. Especially because he keeps winning.
It hasn't gone away. I can't explain it. And especially when these liberals, they go on social media and are screaming, cursing, and yelling. It really makes me think even more how much I so appreciate the fact that we actually won. And it's almost like pinch me. Like, wow, where are we?
Can you imagine what the world would be like right now if Kamala Harris was
I don't even want to imagine that.
Would be in
that
a
is
war.
such it's like an abomination, basically.
We probably would be in a war, right? And Trump, you know what? Ever since Trump has set in office, or stepped foot in office, he did all those executive orders starting to put in place what he promised the American people. And then, of course, he shut down the border. We're celebrating that. We are celebrating the fact that he did broker peace between Israel and Iran, at least for now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his intention. And so Trump, everything in the tariffs, look at the tariffs. They're saying that money is pouring in the door right now with tariffs. And all you heard the Democrats do is complain about, we're being so mean to all these countries. This is going to ruin our relationship.
When they've been taking advantage of us all this time.
Yeah, and here we are. Trump is like, and there's other countries that are still coming to the table going, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then, of course, he had Canada this weekend he was pushing back on. And Will, you and I were talking this morning because we were in the gym and you're like, hey, did you hear that, Canada caved into Trump? And I said, I did hear that. And I said, it's funny because Trump, when they had this Democrat win, Trump said they'd rather work with a Democrat than they would a Republican. And I figured out why. Because Democrats are dumb, so they're easier to deal with, and Republicans are smart, so they're a little bit more difficult because they use common sense. It's a little bit harder to negotiate. But these Democrats, they do dumb things.
Yeah. Actually, Shannon, can you put the live feed right now from the White House up here? Because this is, again, America's winning. America is winning. Just put the live feed. Yep, there you go. Bring the live feed up here. This is actually on the White House YouTube channel. The White House right now is playing this. And it's just on repeat. It's on repeat. And it's talking about the big, beautiful bill.
Isn't this amazing? Trump is once again communicating like a president I've never seen before. He's even sharing with what's in the big, beautiful bill in the White House. He's like, come and see for yourself.
Yeah.
He talks to reporters every single opportunity he gets. And I tell you, he doesn't even rush the questions. He doesn't say, oh, they're telling me I can only take one more. I mean, he doesn't do any of that. He just keeps answering questions. When he's on an airplane, he steps away and goes back and talks to the media. Even last, I think it was Friday, Will, we were playing a press conference. And one of the people in the press said, this is so refreshing. I can't even tell you how refreshing it is for a president just to step in here and communicate with the press and just take random questions.
And you know what I really love about this? Because here's all the information. Well, it's not all of it, right? But these like the bullet points, the key points about what's in the bill. And I love the animation. This was the campaign. This is President Trump. This is what he was campaigning on. And look at it, the big, beautiful flag on the White House lawn, which I don't know why it wasn't there in the first place all these years. Why does President Trump have to be the one to come along and put a big, beautiful flag in the White House lawn?
With his own money, by the way.
He spent his own money.
Yeah.
So do you know what I can see? If the Democrats ever get back into the White House, I can see them knocking it down. I can see them taking it down. I can see them taking that down.
Do you know that Trump wanted to do that his first term? But there was just so much going on. He said it got away from him. It
got away from him. So he's not letting anything get away from him this time.
Nope.
But I love it. Look at this. He's in McDonald's. He's waving his hand. Remember, he was working it. This president is the people's president. He's straight up the people's president. I love this. I mean, I really do. This is amazing to me. I love seeing this. And of course, the liberals, they see this. They're reacting like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that he did this. I can't believe that he's doing this. Piping mad about it. Piping mad. Well, good for President Trump. I love it. I love it. Here's something else that the Democrats are having to admit to. They're having to admit how the success that President Trump is having. And they're not happy. This is the reason why they're doubling down on this dude in New York, because they think that this is the only way that they can win anything, but they're not figuring it out. I have a story about that, but let me play this first.
What should they take away is that the party leaders, Democrats who say they want to replace their party leaders, look at this, 62% nationally say yes compared to just 24% who say no. That lines up with the idea that Democrats view their own members of Congress, their own leaders in Congress, record low approval rating. Democrats right now are out for blood. They want to take out their party leaders. And you saw that with Andrew Cuomo going, adios, amigos, goodbye. See you later in New York this past Tuesday.
You know who else was trying to take out the leader, Shannon? Who? David Hogg.
Oh, yeah.
David Hogg, they said they had like $20 million to remove their leaders because he was upset with Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, he wanted to put in 25 somethings.
He wanted to bring in these like the AOCs. He wanted a whole bunch of AOCs to lead in the Democrat Party. But AOC, she's the one kind of leading the Democrat Party right now. And you know who's upset about her more than anybody? I mean, who's more upset about AOC being the leader of the Democrat Party than the Republicans are? Because we don't even really care.
Schumer?
No.
Who?
Chris Como.
Oh.
Chris Como, he has a personal vendetta against AOC. Every single time that he does anything, he's really talking bad about her. And he's not even holding back. He's not holding back at all. Here's another one. Here's Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, they're all losing it right now. Their poll numbers are in the dirt, and they do pay attention to the poll numbers. Don't let them lie to you and say that they don't. And then also, they're trying to convince everybody else that President Trump is not being successful. Gas prices are down. Food is down. The economy is getting better. Now, look, it wasn't going to happen overnight. People with rational thinking know it wasn't going to happen overnight. We knew this wasn't going to happen overnight. We knew it was going to have to take time to try to correct and get America back on the right track after all of the damage that the Demoncrats have done to the country. We knew this. There's no secret. We all knew that it was going to take something, and it was going to take some time. We all knew this. Well, listen to Hakeem Jeffries complain about President Trump and mega extremists. I don't know if he says a mega extremist in this clip, but he brings it up as much as possible. But he's complaining about the success that President Trump is having, trying to say that he's not.
This country is far too expensive for working class Americans, for middle class Americans, for all those who aspire to be part of the middle class. Imagine a country where every single hardworking American taxpayer can afford to live the good life, work hard, play by the rules, have a good paying job, good health care, be able to afford a home, educate your children, go on vacation every now and then, and one day retire with grace and dignity. The good life, the American dream. That is not accessible to everyone. And so I think it will continue to be important for all of us on the Democratic side to address relentlessly the issue of the lack of affordability in this country. Donald Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down, they're going up. In fact, the guy is crashing the economy in real time, imposing these reckless Trump tariffs that are going to increase costs by thousands of dollars a year. And he may even drive us toward a recession.
Are you hearing this? Everything that President Trump has been doing has been reversing all of the tyranny that the Demoncrats have done to this country. I mean, just the reverse. So where's he getting his information from? Where's he getting the data from? He just comes out there and mouth it like a mouth breather. And then, it must be factual because Hakeem Jeffries is saying it. He's lying. The tariffs have been bringing billions of dollars into the country. The tariffs have been bringing jobs into the country, but he doesn't want to acknowledge that. Every single thing that the Democrats try to do, and their only sole purpose, is to destroy this country and make Trump look bad. And they want to destroy the country because they hate Trump more. Because Trump is in the White House. Isn't it really weird? These people went out and campaigned to the American people to vote for him. I'm here for you, Americans. I'm here to help you. We're the party, this is the left, we're the party that's going to work across party lines to make things better for the American people. But the Democrats are not doing anything for the American people. I've been asking this question for years now. For years. And for the life of me, I cannot come up with a single thing. And the question is, name one thing that the Democrats have done that the American people as a whole can say, oh, look what they've done for us as a whole. Name one thing. And for the life of me, I can't think of anything. Then some people go, well, Will Johnson, he did Medicare. That wasn't for everybody. That wasn't for anybody. Obamacare, are you kidding me? Obamacare destroyed parts of the medical industry. Destroyed it. The government should not be able to force you to buy anything. The government is not in that position. And that's why this dude in New York talking about he wants government grocery stores, city grocery stores. So what happens when you say something that they don't like? They can cut your access off to the government grocery store.
Wow, that is such a good point.
Who in their mind would do that? It don't make any sense.
They don't realize. They don't realize it can come back around.
It's stupid people, yeah.
But that's how Democrats are. Will they do things without thinking? You and I have said that for so long. But look at this, talking about inflation. Hakeem was talking about inflation.
Mm-hmm.
This is, breaking news somewhat. It says that the Treasury Secretary Bissett said they are working on selecting a new federal chair to replace Jerome Powell in coming weeks. Now, I think this is going to be, it's going to be one of those things where the Democrats come out and lash Trump saying he can't do that, which I looked it up. He really doesn't have the power to do it unless he can show that Jerome Powell has done some kind of misconduct. Now,
this is the guy with the feds, correct?
Right. He's the one that's
he needs to go
holding the
away.
Inflation hostage right now.
He needs to go away.
Or the interest rates. He's saying that he won't lower them, even though every single economist on both sides of the aisle are saying there's no reason why he's not lowering them right now.
Yeah, he needs to go. I mean, really, he needs to go away. 100% he needs to go away. Well, listen to this report. Now, you just heard Hakeem Joffrey saying that President Trump is probably going to take us into a recession. They were all kicking and screaming, doom and gloom. If he does these tariffs, it's going to be doom and gloom. If he does them, it's going to be doom and gloom.
Yeah, and
it's going to be the end of all.
That's their messaging right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a liberal, this is a conservative right here. He's going to talk about how great the economy is. But then you have a liberal that comes on there and says exactly almost what Hakeem Jeffrey says.
Egg prices are down and gas prices are at a 4-year low. So I think something's working. And 100%, this was part of the landmark domestic policies that President Trump wanted. He wanted to make sure that the permanent tax cuts to strengthen Medicaid and reform it so that it actually helps those it was designed to help in the first place. And, frankly, President Trump's having a great week, and I think we're going to continue to do that when the Senate and the House pass this on July 4th, send it to his desk, and we'll have a big, beautiful law.
When I bought eggs a couple of weeks ago, they were still $5. Maybe that's down from $7 or $8, but just a few years ago, I was only paying $2 or $3. And if people are losing their jobs, if grocery prices have gone down just a hair, they're still not back to what they were prior to President Trump being in office, and that's exactly what he campaigned on. And the more that Trump wins in office, the more the American people at large lose, and that's just the truth.
He's been in office for 5 months.
But he said he would do things on day one, and he actually knows where the restroom is because he's been there before, and nothing he did first term and nothing he did second term is considerate of the American people at large that don't look like him and his MAGA cult followers.
We'll turn really...
and his MAGA cult followers. How many times have y'all heard that? How many times have you heard that? MAGA cult. MAGA cult. You know the reason why they say that is because they're losing the argument. So they want to try to call it like they're insulting us. That's the only reason why they do that. When they realize that they're not winning the argument, and she has the nerves to say, well, he knows where the bathroom is because he was in there the first time. Joe Biden, he was there with Obama. Obama had to tell him where the bathroom was. And then he's in there by himself, and they're still having to tell him where the bathroom was. He left out, and he still didn't know where the bathroom was. And apparently, the bathroom in the Oval Office is only 4 feet away. And someone still had to tell him where it was at. When they lose the argument, they run to, oh, you're in a MAGA cult. MAGA cult. Let me remind y'all, they're calling us saying that we're in a MAGA cult, but all of them were quick to get the Kool-Aid. They were all trying to force everyone to drink the Kool-Aid. And they didn't want you to go back to work unless you were drinking the Kool-Aid. They didn't even want to let you go into a movie theater, into a restaurant, unless you were drinking the Kool-Aid. But yet they say that we are the ones in the cult. Make that make sense. Every time I bring that up to them, I said, wait a minute, let's get this straight. Do you still think we should be forced to drink the Kool-Aid? Are you still thinking that? Are you still thinking that? And then after that, then they don't want to talk about it. Talking about being in a cult. They were not even allowing parents to go see their parents when they're elderly in the hospital if they didn't, or their children, if they did not drink the Kool-Aid. Sound familiar to anybody? And then they said if you drink the Kool-Aid, everything will be okay.
You know what? It's so sad because there's people who literally died alone in the hospital because of these Democrats. There's literally people that are now showing cases where they can prove that more people died from the COVID shot than actually COVID. Shame on these people. And now they want us to believe, even though gas prices, I have to tell you, I went to get gas, fill up my car the other day, and I just went, oh, wow, that costs less than I thought it was going to. Amen.
Yeah.
Lowest prices since Trump was in office the first time. Eggs are coming down. So many things, prices are coming down. And Hakeem and these leftists get on there and they want us to believe that the opposite is happening, even though, once again, our circumstances is saying something else.
Yep. Talking about these radical leftist lunatic liberals, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, I got to share this with you. This dude won't even acknowledge that how hateful he is when we come back.
Life can be pretty unpredictable, filled with good days and not so good days. And sometimes, the only difference between the two is your level of preparedness. The Jace Case lets you be better prepared for whatever comes your way. It contains antibiotics and other prescription medications so that you aren't caught unprepared. With a Jace Case, you are able to get your prescription medication before the unpredictable happens, allowing you to turn those not so good days into great ones. Go to jace.com now and get your own Jace Case.
All right, everybody. So look, check this out. Listen to this. Bring it back. Where we at? There we go. So President Trump.
Tell people about their discount if they get the Jace Case.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, they just saw it, right? Well, if they use promo code WILL, maybe you can put it in the lower third even.
Oh, I don't know why it's not showing up on the lower third.
Yep, right there. You can put the lower third.
Yeah.
If you're interested, look. The only reason why I even promote this at all is because people constantly say, Will Johnson, what do you do? What do we do? Well, I'm telling people, I'm sharing with everybody what I do. That's the reason why I'm talking about jacecase.com. Jacecase.com, right there. You can go to jacecase.com, use promo code WILL. Use promo code WILL. There's so many different things that you can get in there. And think about this. If we did go into World War III, do you think that you would hope to have this? 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It's a medication bag, and you can customize it. They actually have pharmacists
you
on
can
hand
customize it
that will write you a prescription. You can even call and talk to a pharmacist yourself if you want to. But it has some of the most typical type emergency medications, like like antibiotics, pain medications, allergies, but like I said, you can also customize it too. So I really encourage people to go check it out. It's a really awesome case to have. I don't even care if you're going on like a trip,
or if you're going hiking,
across country, or something like that. You really need
this,
to check this out.
Because before they used to tell people always keep like a emergency kit in your vehicle. Oh my goodness, right here, every time you go on a trip, take this and then keep it in your vehicle. You will be very happy that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check it out.
Okay. Now, let's go to this dude that could possibly be the next New York mayor. I'm glad I don't live in New York. I know good people that live in New York. It's not looking so good because New York is a deep blue city and Mayor Adams is now independent. But hopefully, I mean, Mayor Adams is going to be better than this dude here. And the only reason why they don't want Mayor Adams any longer, because he actually said something about the illegal immigration that the Democrats were pushing into New York because they wanted the numbers, they want the seats. But Mayor Adams said the city can't handle it. So they started pushing back on him. This woman here, President Trump told her, said, you could be good, but she's off her, she needs her meds, maybe. I don't know. Well, she's asking this guy that's possibly has a chance of being mayor of New York about his hatred towards Jewish people, and he refuses. What do they call it? An intifada?
Yeah.
Right? I think that's how they say intifada, meaning that they want to eradicate Jews all over the planet, not just in Israel, but everywhere. And he's been hateful like that. She calls him out on it, and he wants to act like, oh, that's not me.
Asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the Intifada?
The quick, simple answer is yes, I condemn it. Yes, I condemn it because I don't condone any violence against anybody. Look, I'm running for the mayor of New York, and my objective is to make sure that everyone in the New York, all of my constituents, they will feel safe in their homes, in their cities, in their jobs, at the park. They should feel safe no matter who they are, no matter who their background is. They should feel safe. So yes, I condemn it. But what do you think he's going to say?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that to have meaning have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question and the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the Intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence?
And here it is again. She's asking the question once again. I don't use that type of language. I don't really, what he's essentially saying is, look, I don't disagree with it. I just don't use that type of language because, look, I need to deceive the people in New York because there's a lot of Jewish people in New York. There's a lot of people in New York that don't agree with that. So I don't disagree with it, but I can't tell anyone that I'm for it. And I don't want to tell people that I'm against it because if I tell people that I'm against it, all of the people that are for me will no longer be for me. You understand? Watch.
Against Jews.
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech.
You hear this? Now listen to this. Right? Listen to this. Because we always have the left, they're always trying to control what you say and what you can't say. They're always doing this. So he's lying that he doesn't believe that you should be able to control speech. And the reason why he's doing this is because he wants to deflect. Look, if people want to call for the elimination of a group of people, they're calling it free speech. That is not free speech. You're actually calling for harm against a group of people. That's not free speech. 100% not free speech. You know, they tried to impeach President Trump because President Trump said, be peaceful. We're the law and order party. You remember that? And then they tried to say that President Trump, he incited violence. And because he incited violence, he should go to jail. President Trump never did that. These people are actually calling for violence. These people will actually do violence. And then he turns around, just like the rest of the Democrats, and call that free speech. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Does anybody not understand what I'm saying? Listen to his response, because now he's going to say that global intifada is free speech. Really? This is part of the reason why President Trump took out the nuclear facilities in Iran, because what they're saying, they have the freedom to say it in their country, but they keep pushing forward to, talking about death to America. They keep pushing the means to get to that point. Then President Trump said, yeah, maybe you should have kept your mouth shut. Now we're going to take out the facility. You can say it all day long, but as long as you ain't trying to do anything to make that reality. But see, they want it to be reality. Global intifada.
Police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime of speech.
Oh my goodness. See, right there again. Oh my goodness. Democrats put Americans in jail all the time because they said something that they didn't like. They've done it multiple times.
Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in this city. We have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who feel really concerned by that phrase, why not just condemn it?
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president, who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my...
Isn't that everything that the Democrats have done? The Democrats put people in jail because they were voicing their grievances. So if any radical leftist lunatic liberal out there try to say, no, the Democrats never put anybody in jail for their free speech, yes, they have. They put multiple people, because some people showed up because they wanted their grievances heard. And because they said something, use the Constitution, they start locking people up. J6 sound familiar to anybody? There was people there praying in hymns. They locked them up. There was people that was just there. Lock them up. People wanted their grievances heard. Lock them up. People that didn't do anything wrong. Lock them up. Simply for being there supporting President Trump. Lock them up. President Trump, what did he do? Nothing. Lock him up. President Trump did nothing wrong. Get a mugshot. These people are hypocrites to no end. And let me say this really quick, Shannon. You can say it all day long. You can say whatever it is you want to say all day long. There's consequences to your speech, right? Now, if I get on here and I just start cursing and saying all to use that language, I don't condone it at all. But if you want to use it, by all means use it. But I don't condone it. Does that make sense? Now you can say it, but he won't even condemn it.
Yeah, I think when she's questioning him behind the idea of doing it, right? Of these people's desire to get rid of the Jews, right? I mean, that's what she's at. Do you align with that thinking? It doesn't matter if he agrees with them saying or not. She's specifically concerned because there's a lot of people have come out and saying that, that he's anti-Semitic. He's made some comments in the past. Apparently he was a rapper of some sort. Obviously it wasn't very successful, because then he, like most people that aren't successful, go and run in New York City for an assemblyman position.
Yeah.
But and so she's more like, do you condemn that thought process is really what she's saying, not the words itself. She's not asking him, do you agree with free speech and if they can or can't say it? That's not what she's asking. And I wish she would have clarified that more with him. Why do you look like that?
I think the biggest thing about all of this is highly disturbing, because they know that he's a socialist. They know that he's a communist. Someone put it, I just saw a comment too, where Zohan, he actually even called for getting rid of the police. He says here recently that he's going to remove ICE. If he becomes mayor, he's going to remove ICE from the city of New York. He's going to defund the police. He's going to get rid of the police department. He's going to release hardcore criminals into the streets of America, into New York. And because they want the chaos. And let me say this, and this is not because I'm bashing on a certain group of people. This is information that I've received, that in the Muslim community, they believe in order for the end times to happen, that there has to be total anarchy, total chaos, on the planet. They in the Muslim culture, they believe that they have a savior that's going to come, and it's kind of weird to me that their savior is going to come out of a sewer. The way it's been explained to me. Now, if you have a disagreement on it, I do look in the comments every now and then. You can say, Will Johnson, you're wrong. And they believe that their savior is going to come out of a sewer when everything is terrible, when it's just total chaos. And this is their agenda. They want chaos on the planet. Demoncrats want chaos on the planet. This is part of the reason why they were kicking and screaming when President Trump did not take us into World War III. They got upset with Iran because Iran caved to President Trump. They wanted Iran to take out U.S. military personnel because then they knew President Trump was keep his word, but they didn't do that. They want chaos on the planet. It's a demonic spirit. And for people to even look at this dude as the answer for the mayor in New York, and they're actually going out there supporting him, they're only doing this because they hate Trump more. They see every single Demoncrat in place of going against Trump. They're not putting him in place because it's going to benefit the American people. They want them in place because it's going against Trump. Does that make sense? What essentially means going against America, because President Trump is America first. Regardless how much they kick and scream and say that he's not, he is America first. They are against that because President Trump says America first. They are truly America last. Why again? Once again, why do you think that they see that these illegals that are in the country are so important to them? Trey de Agua, MS-13. They're so important to them. Think about what I'm saying. They're extremely important to them. More so than Americans. I don't think Americans are important to them at all. They've shown that. They've demonstrated that to all of us. Let me say thank you to Ann for the Facebook stars. Thank you so much, Ann. I greatly appreciate you. Ann, you are amazing. She's always hitting me up with Facebook stars. Thank you so much for that, Ann. I really appreciate it. Look at this one. Now, this video I think is a total setup, personally. So here it is, Zohar. He's having a event. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up who is pro-Hamas Palestine terrorist organization. He's pro-Hamas. And he is like trying to grill Zohar about his saying that Israel should exist. I think personally this is a setup because he wants the Jewish people in New York to think that, oh, he believes that Israel should exist. He believes that we should have our freedoms. He's not like they say. I think it's a total setup. What happened here in this video?
What do you say? I have a question. What do you say about politicians that constantly reaffirm Israel's right to exist? Because people like me are constantly attacked by politicians for standing up for Palestine, and you are constantly defending the right for Israel to exist. My family is in Palestine right now, constantly under attack.
So why is he not in Palestine? If my family was there somewhere in harm's way, I'll be trying to get there to get him out. I'm just asking the question, why is he not there? I believe that this is a setup because if he was, let's say he was a conservative and he was yelling at this dude, what do you think his security would be doing right now? What do you think the other people would be doing right now? They would be pushing him out. I believe that this is a setup to try to make it look like that he's for everybody.
And I'm hearing you say free Palestine, but also Israel has the right to exist. Don't be hypocritical. Don't be hypocritical and say free Palestine when you're also defending the right for Israel to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It does not have the right to exist. It's not your land to say it has the right to exist. Woo!
See, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, he's letting them have it. He's letting them have it. But then I was like, wait a minute. And just like I mentioned a second ago, if it was a conservative saying that we don't want your communists here. You telling people, the grocery stores, that we're going to take over the grocery stores and regulate the food prices on everything. You know, that is the disaster of a society. Talking about the government's going to control the food prices. Have they never looked that up throughout history? Every nation that has done that totally collapsed. Bread becomes $80 for a loaf of bread. And these stupid people trying to implement this, I think that was a total setup. Anyone disagree with me? Do you disagree with me, Shannon? You think it was genuine? I think it was a total setup. After you
explained it, I was like, you know what, that makes sense. Because it is true. If you have someone that just pops up to, you know, especially in the climate that politicians are in right now.
Yes, where they feel so threatened by the MAGA Republicans. Did that,
you know that security would have thrown him out really quick, or at least came and stood around him. But he stood up there like he wasn't even shaken by this guy approaching him. Like he was like, oh, you know what I mean? I mean, after you showed it to me, I was like, I could see how this looks staged.
Yeah. Yeah. It to me, it's all completely staged. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know in the comments. Like I said, I do look in the comments. Y'all let me know in the comments. What do you think it's staged? Me personally, I think it was. I could be wrong. Because these leftist lunatics, they're all everywhere. So I could be wrong, but I think it was staged. Well, Mayor Adams, he's not happy. The Democrat Party basically kicked him out. And if Mayor Adams keep going down the path that he's on, he's going to end up being a Republican. See, I used to be a Democrat, and the only reason why I was a Democrat because I was told as a young age that the Democrat Party was for the party for people like me. I was told this. I didn't know any better. And then I got older, had to pay some bills, and started realizing the truth of everything, started reading more, that the Democrat Party, they're not for the American people. And even today, I mean, look, I brought it up multiple times during this show, how the Democrats see the illegals as really important and not the American people. What else do you need to see? But see, so many people that hate Trump so much, they don't care. Well, listen to Mayor Adams while he was on with Jake the Snake. And of course, Jake the Snake is defending the communists in all of this. Listen.
So I want to turn to your likely Democratic challenger, Mamdani, because you said recently that the Jewish community in New York should be concerned about him. You've accused him of using anti-Semitic rhetoric. What specifically has Mamdani said that you think is anti-Semitic?
Pro-Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist organization that should be destroyed. When you embrace the philosophies of Hamas, not only what they do to their own people, but what they did in Gaza to lift them up and praise them, I think that's a clear indicator that something is wrong with that. But he has to
when did he praise Hamas? I don't recall him ever praising Hamas.
There's several videos, even during his days of being a rap artist, of praising Hamas and other terrorist groups. And so a little research, you'll be able to find it. But I'm not competing against him only for what he's done and praising Hamas. I'm competing against him because this is not a socialist city. And that much of what he's promising to people, which I think is really deplorable, people that are struggling, like my family did, living without the means that we needed, when you promise them that you're going to give everything away free and you don't have the authority as the mayor to do so, he doesn't have the authority to raise income tax on the top 1% of New Yorkers. Assemblymen have that authority, and that's who he is. He couldn't do it in the assembly. How are you going to deliver it as the mayor of the city?
Well, he has. I mean, he obviously caught the imagination of a lot of Democratic voters. His victory was pretty handy. You're talking about rent freezes, which he does have the power to do. Free bus service, universal child care, childcare, creating city-run grocery stores. Do you disagree with those programs, or just he doesn't have the authority to do it on his own?
Let's go back. You said rent freeze. He has the authority to do so. No, he does not. There's the independent rent guideline boards that independently make that decision. So he does not have the authority to do that. He had the authority to do free buses. I gave him a pilot project to do when he was in the assembly. He failed to carry out on it. 4 years in the assembly, he has not passed one bill. He's making promises to people who are really struggling that he can't deliver on. The foundation of all the things he wants to do for free is coming from an income tax increase on 1%. He does not have the authority as the mayor to do that. He has the authority as an assemblyman, and he did not accomplish everything he's talking about doing now. He could have done in the state, but he failed to do so.
You know who, if he didn't say him, I would think that he was talking about Kamala Harris. Same thing with her. She failed at her job miserably. She did nothing. Same thing here. And the only reason why people are supporting this dude is because he's anti-American and he's anti-Trump. Same thing.
Well, I'd just like to get your reaction real quick before we get off of here. So the identity of the Idaho wildfire ambush on police officers yesterday, they said that they have identified the person that did it. This is a picture of him. It's weird because it looks like very different pictures. I don't know if it was like him younger and then as he got older, but his name was Wes Raleigh. And that's all the information they're giving. But just looking at these pictures, I mean, what's your first reaction? I'm just laughing because your face, I'm sorry, it's really not funny.
It's not funny.
They're saying that he is the one that set the fires. So he intentionally started the fires to ambush and kill the firefighters. 2 are dead. 1 is in critical. And
so if this is actually him and he, did this, allegedly did this, right? You got to say that, allegedly. So if he's the one that's actually behind this, and they're not releasing more information about him, then there's something about him that they don't want us to know.
Yeah,
and I'm wondering if they're trying, if the left is trying to scrub as much as possible on him before people find out.
It is still under investigation. That's what they're saying in the article. So there's no other details being released as of yet, other than his identity. And this was channeled 2 News in the area. They got these pictures somehow, somewhere. I mean, I'm showing what their article is saying, but this is what we're hearing right now.
Wow. All right, everybody. That is it for me. Hey, let me remind you, you want to help me out, uniteamericafirst.com/donate. Sign up for the free newsletter as well while you're there. uniteamericafirst.com. Right there. You see it right there. Please go there. Consider helping me. Consider supporting me. uniteamericafirst.com/donate. All right, everybody. God bless. See you tomorrow.